Long ago, in a small village, there lived a poor cobbler. He was unmarried, spending his days stitching people's shoes to earn just enough for survival. His income was so little that he could barely feed himself, and that's why he never thought of marriage. One day, he craved khichdi, a dish of rice and lentils. He hadn't eaten it in days. Excited, he went to the market, bought rice and lentils, and prepared the dish with great care. Once it was ready, he poured it into a big plate to cool and thought to himself, while it cools down, I'll quickly return the finished shoes to the villagers. He left the plate of khichdi on the floor and stepped out. Coincidentally, a hungry jackal from the forest wandered into the empty house. There, he found the fresh steaming khichdi. Without a second thought, the jackal jumped on it and began eating greedily. Before he could finish, the cobbler returned, excited to eat his long awaited meal. But to his shock, he saw the jackal enjoying his food. Furious, he slammed the door shut, tied up the jackal with a rope, and picked up a thick stick. He began beating the jackal again and again whenever he got a chance until the poor creature was swollen and bruised all over. That night, while tired and suffering, the jackal thought of a plan to escape. In the morning, he pretended to cry loudly as if calling out to his friends. His howls echoed into the forest, and soon other jackals responded. Among them was his best friend who recognized his voice. That friend followed the sound until he reached the cobbler's house and saw him tied up. The tied jackal, swollen and fat from beatings, put on a smile to hide his pain and said, "Oh, my friend, look how well I'm treated here. Every day I'm fed delicious sweets. That's why I've grown so plump. This man is so kind. He ties me up just so I don't run away." The other jackal was tempted and asked, "Really? How did you manage such luck?" Cunningly, the tied jackal whispered, "I'll share the secret with you on one condition. You must take my place. Untie me, let me go free, and then you'll get the same treatment." The foolish friend agreed. He untied the captive jackal, who quickly tied him up instead and ran away to freedom. When the cobbler returned, he thought it was the same jackal. He grabbed his stick and began beating him mercilessly again. The poor jackal cried out in pain, "Why are you punishing me? I've done nothing wrong." The cobbler was stunned. The jackal was speaking like a human. But he didn't stop. He shouted, "You stole my khichdi, and I'll punish you until my anger is satisfied." Terrified, the jackal blurted, "Please let me go, and I'll arrange your marriage with the king's daughter." The cobbler laughed in disbelief. What nonsense! A poor cobbler marrying a princess? But the jackal swore, "Trust me, I'll make it happen." Curious, the cobbler untied him. The jackal left, swam across a river, and on the other side magically transformed into a human. He disguised himself as a royal messenger and entered the neighboring king's palace. Bowing, he said, "O mighty king, my master, the king of the neighboring land sends a marriage proposal for your daughter." The king, who had a young daughter but no suitors, was overjoyed and immediately accepted. He even fixed a wedding date and gave the messenger gifts. The jackal returned to the cobbler and announced, "Your marriage with the princess is arranged." The cobbler, shocked and penniless, worried, "But I have nothing to offer, no wealth, no gifts." The jackal reassured him, "Leave everything to me." On the wedding day, the jackal cleverly tricked a washerman and a cotton seller, paying them with gold coins to spread clothes on trees and float cotton bundles in the river. From afar, it looked like a grand royal wedding procession crossing the river. The king saw this from his palace and believed it was indeed the mighty groom's entourage. Meanwhile, the cobbler was ferried across the river and brought to the palace with great honor. The wedding took place with grandeur, and the poor cobbler married the princess. Afterward, the jackal, still disguised as the royal messenger, advised the king, "Your new son in law has lost all his people in a tragic storm. He should stay here with you." The king, who already loved the idea of keeping his daughter close, agreed and gave the cobbler a palace of his own. The jackal then said to the cobbler, I have fulfilled my promise. Now allow me to return to my friends. With that, he disappeared into the forest, back in his true form. Dear friends, I hope you enjoyed this story. If you liked it, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching.